Do the San Francisco 49ers have one of the best tandems in the backfield in the entire NFL? We're going to talk about Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, their impact, all that and more right now. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Eric Crocker. Over midfield, he'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Cross Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker. And y'all know, man, this is the platform we're just going to come, talk some real football, give some thoughts, things that might be a little bit outside the box, things that I don't want to say concerned about. All right, we're going to get to all that and more. But first, as always, make sure if you don't already tune into Locked On 49ers, I'm one of the hosts on that show. All right, with myself, Brian Peacock. We come at you 5 days a week, so make sure you guys listen to that on any platform and also YouTube as well. Locked On NFL Draft with myself, Ryan Tracy, John Harris. I'm on there 5 days a week as well. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. If you're into, putting the players together, who's going to have this many yards, pick a higher, lower number, all that stuff, make you some money. That's promo code Crocky, and they will double your deposit up to $100. All right, up to $100. So I hit on Sunday on Underdog. I came back yesterday with the big shebang bang, $50. I was going for the gusto I was trying to get $1,000, and I put up 50, and I missed because Dallas Goedert. I needed him to get 2 more catches, and he didn't get it for me. So I was 2 catches away from $1,000. All right, so you can make you some money on Underdog Fantasy. It's dangerous though. It's dangerous. My guy Greg Pinelli, he keeps losing. All right, but go play some Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. Tell them I sent you. All right. We got Bang Bang 49er gang, right? Here we go. I hit for 200 on the Niner game. Let's go. Niners, I usually get a nice, good feel during Niner games. I've been much better doing my halftime bet. So you can go in at halftime, pick, the high, lower, all that stuff, put it together. And I've been doing much, much better doing the halftime stuff as it pertains to like the beginning. Shout out to my guy Abel in the chat, Northside Gangsta Crib. What up, Abel? That's my bro right there. I hit for 100 on a 4-team parlay. Let's go. Okay. 100, 14, 1,200. Let's go, man. We out here getting money. Y'all want to get money too, man? Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. Download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com. What up, Abel? Our group chat on Instagram, it be getting a little crazy, huh? It be getting a little crazy. I'm married. I can't engage in all that stuff, man. Y'all be wild in there. Shout out to all the 209 folks in the chat. Shout out to everybody that got the flames going. Greg, all right. Mosquito Killer, all right. Jesse, everybody feeling good this morning. I like it. Gabriel, I see you. And, Crock the best in the business. I like that. Listen, I don't look at, myself as like the best in the business, but I do feel like on this show is one of the most engaging shows, and we talk like real shit, and we keep it a buck, right? We keep it a buck, keep it real, and just talk real stuff. I'm not trying to push no narratives or anything like that, just things that we seeing. And I think that kind of starts with the 49ers and tipping plays. Is that where we started? I wasn't going to go there yet, but I did see my guy Jesse post that on Twitter. He put the YouTube out, and I got to watch it. I haven't watched it. I actually clicked it, so he at least gets the click on there, the view. I have not watched it yet, but I'll look into that. And a lot of that stuff, I don't try to guess too much because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they're taught. He could be taught, hey, man, if it's a pass play, line up like this. If it's a run play, line up like that. And they might not care if they're tipping it or not. I don't know. Listen, I have no idea. I don't know why somebody would purposely want to tip off the play call and whatnot or what's going on. So I'm not even going to try to guess. I'm pretty sure it'll probably come up on Locked On 49ers when we record with Winky for Winky Wednesday in a little bit. But for somebody like Trent Williams, who has played as long as he has, which Trent Williams, he's actually up there in age, and has played at as high of a level as he's played, I would be kind of shocked if he doesn't know that he's tipping something off, or if what his he has to have a reason for why he does that. If we're talking about somebody fresh out of college and he's tipping the play and he just doesn't know, like, okay, I get it. But somebody that's been playing as long as Trent Williams, as high as the level as he is, he understands every little detail of everything that he does and why he does it. So he knows what he's doing, why he's doing it, and if he is indeed tipping plays off, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But I can guarantee you he knows exactly what he's doing. I can guarantee that. All right. Croc for sure, you got one of the best Niners sports talk pods out here. Let's go, man. Let's go. Coming a long way. Hey, well, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm talking about, nigga. You know what I'm talking about. All right, man, let's talk about it. Listen, y'all. I got some thoughts. All right. And I formed questions, and I think sometimes the way I form the questions, people take what they want out of it and then try to make it into something else. Please. Don't do that shit today. All right? Do not do that today. I have a question. Thoughts I had before the McCaffrey trade. Thoughts I have now. And kind of how it's shaping out. And I think Christian McCaffrey, matter of fact, let me get this out the way now. All right. If you told me right now, 49ers don't have Christian McCaffrey, hey, you could trade for Christian McCaffrey, I would say, do it right now, right? No issues. Trade for Christian McCaffrey, great. I love the player. He's terrific. He's one of the best running backs in all of the NFL. All right, so from that standpoint, I just want to make that clear before y'all start trying to, twist what I'm saying here. My main question before the trade, all right, we're going to bring that back up. My main question, and then we're just going to have a conversation surrounding it. I'm going to bring y'all on. I have one question, and I'm going to bring y'all on. Matter of fact, here's the link in the chat right now. All right, so I'm going to ask this one question, and I'm going to bring y'all on. All right, come on live. Boom. Bing. So I have one question. I'm going to word it, and don't nitpick. Don't try to change anything that I say. Just take it for what it is, and then answer the question from that standpoint. All right, but my question, when the trade happened, which made people believe that I didn't like the trade, right, or the player, was how much better does Christian McCaffrey have to be than Elijah Mitchell? And I guess you could throw Jeff Wilson in there too since they let him go. But how much better does McCaffrey have to be than Elijah Mitchell, Jeff Wilson, or anybody else, right, to justify giving up a second, third, fourth, fifth, and $12 million each year over the next 2 years? That was my question. So that's not me saying, oh, I think he's not good. That's not me saying I think he's a bad running back, etc. I think he's really good. I think he's tremendous. But how much better does he have to be, especially from a production standpoint? Now, one thing we know, we saw what he did against the Rams. I would say if he's going to give you that every week, that's awesome. Last game, and maybe they are, and I'm just talking through my thoughts right now, right? I'm just talking through my thoughts, y'all. Maybe they're trying to preserve him. I think he did get nearly the same amount of touches as Elijah Mitchell. But if I just told my wife, right, my wife don't know nothing from nothing. The only person my wife, she knows who Jimmy Garoppolo is. She knows who George Kittle is. My wife loves George Kittle. All right. But if I said, hey, babe, which one of these running backs is the better back? Right? She was sitting in there watching the game. She probably would have said number 25. Right? Now, that's Elijah Mitchell, not Christian McCaffrey. Now, that's not saying that Elijah Mitchell is better. I'm just saying how she would have probably perceived it. And my point is, again, from a production standpoint, how do you make it worth it? I just watched Jeff Wilson get traded off for a 5th-round pick. And Jeff Wilson ran for 120 yards, averaged 7 yards a carry, caught for another 25 yards, right? Like, he's productive. So, Christian McCaffrey, back to him. And again, this is the question. Y'all come on. Did I put the link in the chat? Ain't nobody came in yet. Make sure y'all come in here so we can talk about it. But to justify what you gave up, the money, etc., how much more production does he have to be? Or are you saying the production that he had last game, which more times than not, we'll say from the Rams game, last game, etc., what you've seen so far through 3 weeks, solid. Maybe you're like, again, and if y'all say, well, Croc, this is not a trade for right now. This is a trade for the playoffs, and he's better than any other running back or whatever, and that's your point. Cool. Come on. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. All right. But that's just kind of my question, and maybe this is me overvaluing Elijah Mitchell, overvaluing guys like Jeff Wilson or Raheem Mostert, right? Just guys that are just cheaper, not going to cost you as much. Maybe that's my fault, where I'm like, nah, Croc, Elijah Mitchell's not as good as you think he is, which I think he's a damn good running back. All right, so hey, I just have questions. This is just a conversation. I see Steve in the chat right now. He says, just get his chip. No one cares. Hey, man. Hey, if you don't care, you know what I'm saying? Get up out of here. We're just talking, right? Like, this is just a forum to talk. Like, if, you talk to your homies. If we over and we watching football and we talking, I wouldn't be like, hey, man, nobody cares. Just get a championship. Nobody cares. And then end the conversation. Like, there's no fun in that. We got to talk through some of this stuff, man. Let's have a good conversation. So I put the link in the chat. Y'all go ahead. Come on live. And let's talk about it. Here we go. Mike Shields, he says he has 4 TDs through 2 games. Production is more than there. Mitchell can't stay healthy. All right. Hold on. I got Chris coming on. Let me. Make sure that I'm on the right thing. All right, here we go. We got Chris Carr in the building. Chris, how you doing?
What's up, Croc?
Man, I'm chilling, man. How are you doing today? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. This is a sensitive subject, I think, amongst faithful right now.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's the picks, and I think people overvalue the draft picks, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I think they think about the amount that we spent on Trey and the diminishing returns thus far with him. And so now it's like, oh my God, we don't have any draft picks. Like, I mean, and when you really look at the draft picks we do have this year, I mean, we do have draft picks. And I mean, for the most part, other than a few that we kind of hit on, I mean, your Bosa, I mean, that was a given. Nobody was going to mess that pick up. I mean, except for maybe, the Cardinals, because they wouldn't got Kyler. But
right.
I think really it's the picks that mess people up. But I mean, in reality, man, like, I don't necessarily think there's a value. Like, I don't think, like, when you're talking about how productive does he have to be? Well, is it that he has to be so productive on his own, or is it just like I think what we really want to do is I agree with you, like, watching the game Sunday, it was like, man, Mitchell looks really, really good in this offense. I mean, last year when Mitchell came on, I went out and got my little Mitchell hoodie with the 49ers logo on the front with Mitchell's number on the back. I mean, because that was my dude last year. And I'm not saying that he's still not my dude. I'm just saying that he has shown a propensity to get himself hurt. Whether that's his fault, just getting run into the ground, whatever. I will say this. I think CMC is a better running back than Jeff Wilson. Otherwise, I don't think they make that trade, right? Like, they think he gives them
100%.
more, right?
No, yeah.
So I don't think you're going Elijah versus CMC. I think you're going, okay, we can get better at like our second running back. And I know it's a lot of money, but I mean, you're not just taking carries away from Mitchell, but you're also going to take away carries from our man Debo. And now you've got a guy that you can really, like, because before we grabbed CMC, who were we really throwing the ball to out of the backfield?
Nobody.
Right.
I mean, except for a couple of times to Debo. And that was one of my big questions. Like, man, this is a team, or at least an offense, that has not thrown to the running backs. Well, you've seen that change drastically with the addition of Christian McCaffrey. Last game he had 4 catches. I want to say against the Rams, 7, 8 catches, however many catches he had. So definitely you see a huge uptick in the amount of targets to running backs.
And I think that's what you're paying for more so than, like I said, going Mitchell versus CMC. I mean, I don't think you can really look at the trade that way. You got to look at it as like he's taking some of the load from from Debo. He's taking some of the load from Mitchell, and it is going to make the entire picture better, right? That's my two thoughts. I mean, it's just, that's how I look at it.
Now let's say, because essentially what you're saying is he's kind of all right. He's going to take some off this guy's plate, some off this guy's plate, to where now, hey, we could delegate this stuff to him. Is that worth a second round pick, third round pick, fourth round pick?
I mean, it is to me.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, like I said, to me, and I think everything, like every trade that you make is going to be, subjective to who's looking at it and how they look at things. Like, if you asked BD, he would tell you absolutely not. I hate running backs. They're you can find running backs everywhere. I could go down the street, go grab a sandwich and get the guy from the sandwich shop, put him behind his line, and he can run for 100 yards.
Which I think what he's saying is, I think this is what he's saying. You could trade for McCaffrey, and that's great, and you see production and all that. I think what he's saying is 49ers traded Jeff Wilson to the Miami Dolphins, and he ran for, in the game, 120 yards and had 20 yards receiving and a touchdown and average 7 yards a carry. So I think when he says, like, running backs don't matter, I think essentially he's saying, like, you could plug backs in there, and if a guy could run, like, he's going to be productive.
I mean, I'll agree with that to a certain degree. Like, yes, there's certain people you could put back there, but I mean, there are not, every back isn't made to run in a zone scheme. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got to make quick decisions. You got to be a one cut runner. You got to get north and south fast. It's not, this pitter pat stuff playing around in the backfield. You've got to make that cut. You got to make a decision. You got to hit a hole and you got to go. So, I mean, not everybody can do it. I mean, some guys are really good at it. I mean, Debo was really, really good. Elijah is really, really good. Mostert, I loved the way that Mostert got north and south. Like, that dude hit a hole like he was getting shot out of a cannon. I'm surprised, actually, he hasn't been more productive with Miami. So that's the kind of stuff that I think about. Like, solid. Okay,
I think he's more suited for the role that he's in now with Elijah Mitchell there, where Jeff Wilson there, where Jeff Wilson's like, all right, I'm going to be the lead guy, and, you get carries off of me. You don't have to be that guy every single time, running inside,
he's not big enough.
A lot of the dirty work. I think Jeff Wilson does that. Yeah.
Right. And even we were throwing him some balls out of the backfield, and like I said, it's not a knock on Jeff at all, because Jeff was a great back. I loved, like I said, we had that Cardinals game where he runs that Texas route out of the backfield, boom, touchdown, wins the game. That was kind of like when Jeff popped onto the scene for us. But I mean, like I say, to me, you have to look at the trade as a whole. It's, like picking individual players. It's really difficult to say, hey, this guy is 10 times better than that guy. I think you're looking at a long haul type of thing. It's like, hey, how much better is he than Jeff Wilson? How much more can he do? How much, what I'm saying? He's a super smart dude too, from what I'm seeing. I mean, 2-3 weeks in, and he's an integral part of the offense right now. I mean, as well as I do, and that offense, that doesn't seem to be that is not the norm for that offense
for people to grasp.
Yeah.
All right, man. Chris, I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna get to the next caller.
Thanks, bud.
All right. Good. That's a good response. And again, that's what I want. Again, this is not Croc thinks it's hella stupid. It's just, I'm just, making sense of everything and then having a discussion with my friends, my family. There's almost 200 of y'all in here right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All right. Gammon.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Gammon. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, Croc. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. I had to fork out a lot of money this morning. And that always makes me a little uneasy, but this is going to be my therapy for that. So. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited because I forked out a little bit of money too. My birthday was November 11th, and I got one of those nice video game arcade cabinets. So I'm really excited about that. So, but I wanted to kind of quickly, mention or gloss over some comments that I saw, and I just wanted to highlight just a couple of those.
All right, hold on real quick while you do that. 1 second. Let me post this chat right here because I didn't get to it. I forgot to get to it. But I don't know about how much better McCaffrey needs to be. Is how differently you use him. Debo can be running back McCaffrey out wide. We ain't seen it yet. So I think you're basically saying there's a lot of things that you're going to be able to do with McCaffrey that they haven't even truly tapped into yet, right? Am I reading that correct?
Yes, that's how I'm seeing it, and they're saying about how differently you use him. I think there's talk about hey, is Kyle Shanahan limiting the offense? I've never felt like Kyle Shanahan was limiting the offense. I feel like the ceiling for this offense is only as high as Jimmy Garoppolo. And when I look at one of Swansong's, some of his comments, which I really value, Swansong's input. He's, I think, one of the smartest commentators, or not commentators, but as far as like a viewer who is on multiple channels, what he says, he's usually dead on, and it's very, very well researched. But he says CMC has crazy good hands and body control, and he's a beast at pass protection and run blocking. And if anyone has seen or Swansong on Twitter or anywhere else, or where he goes on different mediums, he's about as dialed in as anyone who I've seen. And I kind of agree with that too. And so I think you're only able to the output that you're able to do. What I do like though is that by having CMC maybe on the left side of the field and you have Deebo Samuel on the right side of the field, not every team has a defense that's as stacked as our defense. So we're talking about pick your poison, right? We have some stout running blockers for tackles. As far as McGlinchey and Trent Williams, both of them are rhinoceroses when they start moving off of those edges. And so to have either that dual threat there, say what you want as far as the pass protection, but run blocking, they're pretty nasty. And to have that kind of powering your way forward is something that teams can't take lightly. So I'm going to put it this way: it's the duality in the aspect. We know what Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do. Other teams know what Jimmy Garoppolo is going to do, but do you have the resources defensively to flex that type over there? And if you, with the misdirection, with the motion in the backfield, if your defense is on one side and you guess wrong, to me, I think it's going to be kind of plain destruction. I wanted to highlight 49ers girl's message that she said at 11:14 a.m. She said, Chargers game plan for CMC, not Mitchell. And I think there's some truth to that. Shout out to the females, the ladies here who are cheering on the 49ers are in chat. We see you, ladies, but I thought that was really, really good. And I think there's a lot of truth to that as well. Look, when I was watching the Chargers, they were aggressively following Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, because if you don't, everybody, especially that was a big televised game. Everybody's going to be like, how could you leave either one of these two guys open? So they were aggressively double man. They had looping coverage over. I'm sure that's going to be shown when you and Greg Pinelli review everything. And by the way, Croc, I'm not. It kind of gets lost in translation. I'm not saying Jimmy Garoppolo or Jimmy Ward is owed a game ball or that he did an amazing job as far as a slot corner. I was just thinking that if we're going to give Jimmy Garoppolo a game ball, I think under the same merit, I think that Jimmy Ward, probably deserves it, because I say this: the defense I thought still was playing decent in the first half, but the defense as a whole, and that meant Jimmy Ward a part of that too. He was part of that mix. Had to have been playing better than he did in the first half. It looks like Hufanga was getting targeted a lot in the first half, and then it looked like they kind of rotated coverage. And then real quick, I'm going to go back to another comment made by Swansong. He said Miami is running back friendly because defenses are scared to death with Tyreek and Waddle. Defenses play the 49ers closer to the line of scrimmage because the 49ers don't have that type of speed. I'm in congruence with that statement. In fact, before Miami had that big trade, right? So when you look at the points scored by the 49ers and the points scored by the Miami Dolphins, At that time, I'm talking about before the bye, so not if you look it up right now, but before the bye, the 49ers had put up 196 points. And a lot of people took issue to the limited amount of points that the 49ers were scoring. But I would say they were just balanced. Like, that the 49ers next week, for whatever reason, are going to score probably 21 to 23 points, right? When you looked at the Dolphins, they only scored 198 points. The thing with the Dolphins is that they're a flip of the coin. They're either scoring 40 points or they're scoring in the low teens. And that's reflective when you're looking through there. So we're falling in love with what we think that we lost, having seller's remorse, buyer's remorse. I don't know what you want to call it. But the truth of the matter fact is that their offense, Mike McDaniel's offense, is only scoring on average, only scored 2 more points than us leading into our bye. Now, if you looked at the defensive side of the ball, their defense allowed 50 more points than us. They were at 196 points allowed, where we were at 146 points allowed. So, I think it's just like, it's one of those, it's a perspective thing. You see all of a sudden a big 40 burger that the Dolphins put up, and you're going like, what the heck? But what you understand is then they could have a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde carry over the next week. When they don't eat that ass up in the early part of the game and teams aren't knocked back, they aren't punched in the mouth, they don't respond well. We saw that against the Chiefs. When they started punching us in the mouth and the teeth, that was one of the only few times, I think, over the last 5 years where it looked like to me the 49ers kind of wilted and kind of, tucked it in. Against a lot of teams that aren't playoff teams, you put up that amount of points, that amount of hurt in a hurry, they're just going to kind of bend. And then Juan at 11:15 a.m. said, Croc, McCaffrey's contract is non-guaranteed over the next 2 years. So I think the team will renegotiate a team-friendly deal. And I think that was something that you were kind of bringing up, Croc. You were talking about one day kind of showing us your contract so we could kind of take a look at the contract talk. You've had some 49ers cap gurus come live on here before. Swan Song is, I would love for him to come on here. But he does, I think the best explanation is I have a really good understanding. I can't explain it. But Swan Song, if you're there, it'd be awesome if you came on. You do a really good job explaining contracts to the basic layman person can understand it. But I feel like his contract's going to get reworked. Eric Armstead's contract needs to be reworked. And I always, as far as like Jordan Mason, or as far as Jeff Wilson Jr., when we picked up Jordan Mason, I always saw it as like Jordan Mason was a younger, cheaper version of Jeff Wilson Jr. Also, too, I just saw a lot of thunder in our backfield before we picked up Christian McCaffrey, right? Like I just saw Jeff Wilson Jr., a big-bodied bruiser type back. I saw Ty Davis-Price, a big-bodied bruising back. I saw Jordan Mason, a big-bodied bruising back, right? When I look at Christian McCaffrey, he's very, very slippery, right? When I look at Brandon Ayuk, he's very, very slippery. When I see Deebo Samuel, I see a banger. When I see George Kittle, I see a banger. So again, I'm looking at the duality of you can put Christian McCaffrey on a side with Deebo Samuel, and now you have a banger and someone slippery, and then you can have George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk on one side, and you've got a banger and someone slippery. So again, I just see it as like what they're doing is since they know they can't have an extreme beat you one way, they're going to force teams to be like, look, you can't, they're going to stretch you laterally, whereas Miami's going to stretch you vertically. But it just you can't do that for 70 plays a game. Eventually, one of these guys
it's a little difficult, yeah.
Right, exactly, and so that's the thing that I look at. Also, too, because I know I'm kind of eating up some time, and I know you need to go on to some of the next people. I want to say this too, and I haven't really said this before, but I know there's a lot of people who are driving, right, who are commuting, and who call into the show. I think we all kind of take our collective breath and I don't want to say like we're waiting for it, but it would be, I don't know what that would really do to the show or the live cast. If one of you guys ends up getting into an accident, it would be pretty awkward, say the least. There's a lot of good reasons why you probably shouldn't do it. A lot of times you're probably going to see me the next couple of weeks. I've always pulled over and parked my vehicle. If the conversation is that important for you, I think you should pull over and do that. I think it's also too, it's really respectful to the viewers who tune in, knowing that they have your undivided attention, you're talking to them. And then the same thing with Croc as well. So I just think it's just a good sign of respect, not only for everybody listening and the viewers.
All right, I'll make a rule. I'll make a rule from now on. If I see you in the car, unless you're pulled over, I won't bring you up.
That's big ups, Croc. Big ups. Yeah. But other than that, I just wanted to kind of leave with that. And Croc, thank you for moderating that. And I appreciate it. And peace out, guys.
All right. Appreciate you, Gammon. I've seen a lot of good comments in the chat as well. Let me see. Here we go. Here's one. CMC was getting a lot of attention from the Chargers defense in that game. And I want to say it might have been, who was it? Gosh, I'm blanking on his name right now. Baldinger. And he just showed maybe it was him, maybe it was someone else. I don't want to get confused. But I did see someone post the clips of CMC motion out wide, or he, takes off wide right now, and how much attention the Chargers players took to that, and then how it opens up things for other people, probably including Elijah Mitchell. So when we start talking about impact, and that's part of this, right? 49ers, Christian McCaffrey's impact. I think those are the parts that impact him more so than any amount of draft capital or money that you spend on him, how it opens up things for everybody else. See how we brought that full circle? This wasn't about not wanting Christian McCaffrey. I hope it didn't come off that way. I was just sorting through thoughts in my mind, but clearly the impact is really good, really good. Overall, there are several teams with better skill set weapons than the 49ers. I think our talent is overrated. CJ, I ain't gonna lie, you might have to come on and talk about that. Come on and talk about that, CJ. Come on and talk about that. And maybe or maybe 00, 007. I appreciate the contribution. If you had a question, try to put your question in the chat. If you forgot to put the question in there. All right. But man, did I hide that? Yeah, CJ. So CJ thinks that the 49ers skill players are overrated. That's I think that's a good topic to discuss. I just want to hear your train of thought on that. Maybe you didn't have to put a whole nother super chat. You could have just asked the question out to make sure I got it up here. With Mitchell back, we will see more McCaffrey in the slot, or will we see more McCaffrey in the slot? He has the speed element we lack with Jennings, and a nightmare for our ops. That's a great one right there. I think Peacock and I, Locked On 49ers, myself, Brian Peacock, but Peacock and I were wondering that too. Just would you rather have Christian McCaffrey in the slot or Juwan Jennings? And Peacock said Christian McCaffrey. So is Christian McCaffrey someone that could split more of his time on the outside in the slot? All right, so could Christian McCaffrey just be like, all right, I'm going to play 50% snaps in the slot and then, another 30% in the backfield, then 20% of his plays off to the sideline? Is that something that you could see? And how much more would that open up the 49ers offense? What would that look like? That would be interesting. We got Glory here. He says, Kittle should be getting featured more with CMC and Debo creating distractions. Yeah, I did see, I hear people, sometimes talk about how maybe they have to leave him in to block a little bit more, but he does at times become an afterthought in the offense. And I have definitely spoken out about that on this podcast, on this YouTube channel, where a little frustrating, I think. I just feel like the more you get the ball in guys like Kittle and Debo's hands, the more something special is just liable to happen. So even if you have to force the issue, and I think my thing last year was, I think I said it before the season, there shouldn't be a game that Debo Samuel and George Kittle are in where they don't get 8 targets each. Force the issue. But they should get 8 targets because the potential for an explosive play happening it just increases so much the more that those guys touch the ball. Where is the Kittle that we saw in the year where he broke the record for most receptions or most yards in the season for a tight end. There were explosive plays. He did it with Nick Mullins. And I feel like those explosives from Kittle, they are few and far in between, when I feel like there's something that can happen a lot more. And we look at the usage of guys like Travis Kelce, and everybody is just, no doubt about it, Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the league. And he is. Travis Kelce is the best from a production standpoint. But I don't think, if you just told me the traits that I want from a tight end, I would take all the traits of George Kittle. But he's not being utilized that way. And, you know, it's just interesting to see it and how the lack of usage. But I saw a stretch last year with the 49ers where over 2 games, Kittle had like damn near 30 catches and, you know, almost 300 yards over a 2-game span. And it's like, well, and then the next game you see, and it's probably like two targets. It's like, what the hell? I think he should get at least 8 targets a game. At least 8 targets a game. Because when he get the ball in his hands, something crazy happens. Think about last game. He had 2 targets last game. One of them, it was a 3rd down play. He caught the ball, knifed upfield, threw a guy off of him, fought for more yards, and it's like, you don't want that ability much more? It is very interesting. It's very interesting. I see a lot of the people in the chat, and we got a Chiefs fan. Okay, that makes sense. Now, Rocco, maybe you subscribe to the channel. If you are, I appreciate that. Hit the like button, everybody. Everybody else, subscribe as well, of course. I keep it a buck. Like, I don't have a 49ers bias, right, when it comes to players around the league. If I think another player is better, I'll say that player is just better. You know? I think that the usage of George Kittle will lead people to believe that he lacks in certain areas. And I think because of how great he is in blocking and run after catch, I think people knock down the other things that he does extremely well. George Kittle, and you say Kelce has better hand. There was like a year where George Kittle had like 0 drops. 0. And if he had any, it was like maybe 1. Like, but there was a year where it's like as sure-handed as anyone. He runs terrific routes. George Kittle is one of the most fluid and explosive in and out of his break receivers, pass catchers in the league. But the 49ers don't utilize it. It's like block. If you put him in the offense, if you put George Kittle in the offense, and I promise I feel this way, and this is not, again, I saw somebody disrespect the weapons that the Kansas City Chiefs had. Somebody said, oh, Kelce is all they have. No, they don't. The Chiefs have weapons. All right. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Now, again, he does something a little bit more specific, but Valdez-Scantling. Juju Smith. Juju Smith is having a really solid year. They just traded for Kadarius Toney. They drafted Sky Moore. They do have Mecole Hardman, who he might give you 3 catches a game, 2.5 catches a game in that range, right? 2 to 3 catches. But one of them is going to hit you, and you saw what he did against the 49ers. Like, they have weapons. But it is interesting to see the usage of Kelce, and I think because a lot of the usage of Kittle, and because I think he blocks so well. So, he loves blocking. He enjoys blocking. He's one of the most dangerous players in the league with the ball in his hands, especially at the tight end position, and he's not utilized that way. And if he was in a different offense, he would be utilized more. I think he'd be utilized more as a pass catcher. All right, here we go. We got Roscoe's coming on. Chris, what up, man? Good morning.
What's up, Croc? Oh, man, it's a good day to have a good day.
Every day is a good day to have a good day, yeah.
Yeah, every day is a good day to have a good day.
Yeah.
What's cracking though? What's the topic today besides the Kittle stuff? Because I'm annoyed because we just refuse to make Kittle a main piece of this offense, or we're inconsistent with it. So I mean, last year he could have had
We'll
1,000.
talk about that though. You can't say, "Oh, I'm annoyed. I don't want to talk about it." Then you start talking about. No. Speak your mind. That's what this
I
is
was just
for.
going to say something for like 30 seconds and then move on. But no, I'm just saying. I mean, we talked about this last year. That's the funny part. We talked about this last year. I mean, like Kelsey gets, I don't even know how many targets. Kelsey gets at least 8-9 targets a game. Andrews get like 8-9 targets a game. Kittle, we may go 3 weeks with him having a total of 7-8-9 targets total.
And do you think that's because like that's what he is only capable of doing, or do you think he's capable of more?
He's,
I'm just asking, just so I
I
can get
know
the answer. I know the answer, but
he's capable of more because we've seen him do more. And I don't know, maybe, and I'm not blaming Jimmy because for all you people who think I'm a hater, Jimmy has played. He has played well this year.
you're
thought
about to say something else. What were you about to say that you stopped yourself from saying it?
I was about to use the word extremely, but I want to stop myself from saying that. He's playing well. I thought he made some key plays against the Chargers on Sunday night. I thought he made some big throws on third down. I mean, some that was even called back. I thought Jimmy was not one of the reasons why this offense couldn't score was very sloppy. Besides the one where he misread. Shout out to Rich Madrid because he pointed out where Jimmy misread the RPO and he should have gave it to Debo, but he threw it to McCaffrey. But overall, I don't know. I don't want to say it's the quarterback, but then it could be. I mean, because it was with Mullins that Kittle had that record-breaking year, and it looks like Mullins was looking for him at will. But then again, what receivers did he have? We didn't have
wouldn't that be more the reason why it would be difficult to get off that way if there are no other like real threats in the passing game?
Yeah, matter of fact, I talked to a football player who played against Kittle. He said there's nothing you can do to guard him. This is a safety who was a safety who actually had a pretty good rookie and second year in the NFL. And then some other things happened. But I'll tell you this. He said, literally, because I was asking who's better between Andrews or Kittle. He said it's Kittle, and it's hands down. He said, he said, how do you guard somebody who's 6'4", who runs like a 4.4, and who is strong as a bull? He said, you can't guard him. He said it's not even fair. And so when we have a weapon like that, I don't know why he's not getting consistently 8 or 9 targets. No matter what, the Chiefs are going to get Kelsey the ball, no matter what. Even Goddard's getting, getting targets. Who else? Hawkinson went to the Vikings. He's getting targets. Like, he's getting a lot of targets now. And we got one of the best tight ends who's a yak guy. And he's not getting the targets that he deserves. And I wouldn't have a problem with it if this offense was clicking, but this offense is not clicking. And we have players who, dropping touchdown passes, fumbling the ball. And I'm like, bro, we got to get our best. I think Kittle is our best receiving person on the team. And we need to get the best receiving weapon the ball. Debo's the best weapon we have. Well, him and McCaffrey are 1A, 1B. But Kittle is the best receiving weapon we have. I love Brandon Ayuk, but he's not a Kittle. He can't break like 4 or 5 tackles. He can't pull away from a defense like Kittle can. Get Kittle the ball.
Or at least he hasn't shown that part of his game yet.
It's what, year 3. He hasn't shown it, so I don't think he's going to show it anytime soon.
Oh, okay.
But I think Kittle, just imagine, like you pointed out, it was the Seahawks and it was the Bengals. Those games that you talked about, Kittle went off like 150 and then like 170, right? Literally, the next 4 games after that, I can tell you, I don't even think he got 10 total targets. Maybe he did, maybe 10 or 12, which is it's not good. It's like
still extremely low.
It's very low. So
if Kelsey had 12 targets in the game, you wouldn't even bat an eye.
Exactly. So I don't know what the problem is, but maybe that's a key into why this offense is not clicking on all cylinders.
Hold on. Rocco, this is a lie, bro.
Rocco's a casual.
you can't. There's nobody that can tell me that Kittle doesn't do everything.
Tell Rocco to
Again,
come on.
that's the issue. Like, let's say, like Vince Carter, right? Vince Carter is an amazing dunker, right? We all know that, right? Like it's like Vince Carter when dunking. Vince Carter, he could do it all, and because Vince Carter dunked so well, people overshadow all the other things that he did that made him play like 20 years in the league. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody says Kelsey can do everything and Kittle can't, it's because Kittle is known. Everybody knows he likes to do the dirty work. Has this wrestling mentality, and he's gonna block people to the ground, pancake people. He takes joy in that, and because of that, it's like, well, he's not as good in these other areas, which is bullshit.
No, bring Rocco on here, bro.
I mean, the chat's in there for everybody.
No, I'm saying bring him on. Let him actually debate that and tell us specifically what does Kelsey do better than George Kittle.
All right, Rocco, you can come on, right? And I tell everybody that comes from different fan bases, you will not be attacked by me. I love having open discussions, even with fans from opposing teams. I'm a football fan first. So I enjoy watching Kelsey play. I enjoy watching the Chiefs play and their offense and different things that they do and the masterful execution that your head coach Andy Reid displays as a play caller. I love that. So I literally want to have an open conversation about it. This isn't about, Now, Rocco, you won't get any pushback. Kelsey is more productive. We don't got to wake up. We know that. That's our issue. That's why we're so frustrated.
Exactly.
Because not that Kelsey is, he's more productive and that makes him better, or he could do everything because of that. Like, nah, it's our frustration is Kittle can do everything, and they'll give it to us. Sometimes it's almost like they throw us a bone every now and then. Oh, okay, here you go, fans. We're gonna target Kittle 15 times in this game. He's gonna have 170 yards, and then we're just gonna do away with it. Kittle was just shy of breaking the record for most yards in the game by a tight end, right? What was it? He had 205 at halftime?
It was against the Broncos.
So he had, 205 yards at halftime, right?
Something like that.
And did not have a catch after that?
Yep.
Didn't have a yard after halftime. And that just shows you how Kyle Shanahan, and I don't know why he does it, but he just goes away from him. Kittle is very underutilized.
So, and this is the problem. Like, I think this is, and I heard somebody talk about it. He said there's fans and then there's fanatics. He says, I don't even debate the fanatics. Because this is the thing. We on here, we gave Kittle credit, right? I mean, Kelsey credit, right?
Right.
You literally said Kelsey was the better tight end, hands down. You said Kelsey was better. You had no
I'd say it's really hard. The 49ers are making it hard for us to be like, oh, no, Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL. And it's not that I don't think he can't be, but right now with what we're seeing, just with how things are playing out, if you asked, people that aren't a part of the 49er fan base, hey, who's the best tight end in the league? I'd say 98% of people would say Travis Kelce.
Plus injuries too.
And
Kelsey's never injured, so he's always on the field. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Rocco, we would love for you to come on. Because I want to know, he said Kelsey does everything better than does everything better. Listen, I don't think Kelsey, because some people would try to say Kelsey's not a good blocker. I would push back on that, but he's not a better blocker than Kittle, and it's not even close. So I would love for him to come on. I doubt he's going to come on, no Croc. So I'm going to get off here. I know other people want to come on, but man, shout out to the Niners. Shout out to Christian McCaffrey. Elijah Mitchell, he did his work. I'm excited. I will tell you, though, I'm a little nervous about this Cardinals game because I hate stupid running quarterbacks. I hate them. I hate going against them. So
who's the – I don't know if –
I think Kyler's going to play.
Because he didn't play last game, and then Colt McCoy got hurt, and they had to play Trace McSorley.
Oh. I think Kyler.
Now, I don't know if McSorley finished the game, but I saw when McSorley came into the game, and I could pull that up right now.
I think Kyler's going to play, bro. I mean, it was a hamstring injury. I think he was a game time decision. So if he was a game time decision, and then he gets all the way to Monday, I definitely think Kyler's going to play. Maybe he'll be a little hampered.
No, wait, hold on. I just want to make sure I put this out there. Colt McCoy did finish the game. So McSorley started warming up, but he never ended up having to come in.
And then, I mean, we do have to get our get back against McCoy, though, because he embarrassed us last year. We got embarrassed by Colt McCoy.
All right, Chris, I'm going to get you off and get the next
All right, bro.
All right. Here we go. We got K Nice on. K Nice, good morning. How you doing?
What's up, man? I haven't been able to.
Are you in the classroom? You're a teacher?
Yep, I'm on lunch right now. Yep. I teach biology.
What you doing in Mrs. Young's classroom?
Nah, she was subbing for me the other day.
Oh. Yeah.
But now, I just was chiming in and talking about the situation with Kittle. And in my opinion, it's three things that's the problem with what's going on with Kittle. You got one where Shanahan has him blocking a lot of the times. And then two, I think he's being bracketed and doubled a lot, because if I'm a defensive coordinator and I got Ayuk and Kittle, with Debo being out or Debo being, I'm taking Kittle away. I'll let Ayuk have his 7 or 8 catches because he's on his way to that level, but he hasn't gotten to that killer level yet. Whereas Kittle, you give Kittle 8 to 7 catches a game, he's gonna hurt you. And so I think a lot of that is a problem. And then the third biggest problem to me is Jimmy. Like in last night's game, Sunday's game, there was a play where they were in a doubles set, and I think you had Jennings on the outside, you had Kittle in the slot. Jennings, the defense would look like they were in a cover 2, where Jennings ran the dig of the post. I think it was a post, and he took the safety. Kittle ran a wheel. And then you have Christian, he chipped the D in, and then he had a choice route that he was either supposed to take it to the sideline or cut it off. Well, when they snapped the ball, Jimmy's eyes were on Christian the whole time. Christian cut his route off, and they double kind of had a double team on Christian, but his eyes was on Christian the whole time. Kittle is one-on-one on the wheel route. The DB is still looking back, like his eyes were on Christian. Kittle was even with the DB, and I played corner. If you're not turned,
if he's even, you're leaving.
If he's even, you're beat. And I'm thinking, like, Jimmy, throw that up as far as you can and let Kittle go make a play. And I think that's the problem with Jimmy. It's like you and your boy were talking about a couple calls of weeks ago where y'all were saying like how Mahomes and them will make that bonehead play that make you mad, and they'll come back and make that big play and make you forget about it. Part of that is because they'll throw it up to their guys one-on-one. I mean, Mahomes, if he sees Kelsey or Hill one-on-one, that ball is gone. Like, he's throwing it downfield, and he's like, go make a play. And they're athletes, and they go make a play. And I think there's so many times where Debo, Kittle, or Ayuk, they're in one-on-one coverage down the field. And I'm like, Jimmy, throw that sucker up and just let them go be an athlete. But instead of him taking that to me was a good option, he was sitting there waiting on Christian to come open on the underneath. When to me, you should have been looking downfield and then came back down to the underneath because he had plenty of time to throw that throw. And I think that's the difference. I think because you're going to have moments where Kittle is going to be taken away, he's going to be blocked. But when you have the opportunity to get a chunk play to Kittle, you got to take advantage of that opportunity. And I think that's what separates Mahomes with Kelsey is people try to take Kelsey away, but as soon as Mahomes sees, oh, he's one-on-one now, I'm throwing it to him. And I think that's
and not just that, they do a really good job of understanding how to work because Mahomes, not that he's a one-read quarterback, but it moves around a lot. So it's kind of a scramble drill, but it's almost like a organized chaos where Mahomes knows, all right, if I start to move, then I know Kelsey's going to do this, and he's going to stop and settle in his zone, and boom, hits him right there. And if you watch how much they connect that way, if Kelsey has 8 catches in the game, 4 of them are probably off of Mahomes moving and then them just kind of playing almost like backyard football. Kelsey stops and then in the open area, boom, and Mahomes hits him. And they do that. That makes them really, really difficult to defend.
Right. And Mahomes has the talent to do that. And Jimmy doesn't have the talent to run around. But I definitely think in certain situations, if you got Kittle man-to-man and it's one-on-one, throw that sucker up and let Kittle just go make a play. Like, I think that's where the explosiveness doesn't come in our offenses. I don't think Jimmy takes those chances enough. And I think that's what separates him from an explosive. Like Trey, I think Trey would have threw that because Trey is young. He wants to get the ball downfield. He got an arm. Like, he would have threw that. But to me, I think Jimmy can do that same thing. Like, you see Tom Brady do it all the time. Tom Brady is a game manager quarterback, but he has really good stats because you'll see Tom, a lot of times he'll throw it on time right away to his guy one-on-one. I'm getting rid of it. Go make a play. And he'll go to that receiver and expect that receiver to make that play one-on-one. And I just see so many times where Jimmy will just take the check down. I'm like, Jimmy, it's one-on-one. And it's Kittle. Like, you brought up the point when you said Mullins, how Kittle had all those yards when Mullins was the quarterback. But that's what Mullins was doing. He see Kittle one-on-one. I'm throwing that up to Kittle, and I'm letting him go play. You know what I mean? That's what he was doing. He was like, oh, shoot, Kittle's one-on-one. I'm throwing it up. Like, there's been at least six times this year where I've seen Kittle running on a route. And he's either the clear out guy and I'm like, Jimmy, it's one-on-one. Like, the last caller said, I think Kittle is our most dangerous weapon. I think he really is. And the announcers made a great point last night, too, that I think Jimmy needs to think about. Like, when Kittle and Debo get the ball and they make one of those, like, really vicious runs where they run somebody over, step out of ankle tackle, stiff arm another person. To me, that gets the team going. Like, that's like energy you feed off of, because it's like, all right, this is how we are. We're physical. This is what it's about to be like all day. And so I think every game it should be an early emphasis to get Kittle the ball, get Debo the ball, because their attitude sets the tone. It sets like a physicality tone. Like, hey, we here, we finna hit you in the mouth all day. This is what it's gonna be like. And so I think a lot of that falls on Jimmy. I think it falls on Kyle. He has to design it. But I think there's also moments where, like I said, that play last night, I'm like, Jimmy. I mean, that play Sunday, I'm like, Jimmy, throw that up. Throw that up to Kittle. It's one-on-one. Throw that sucker as hard as you can to the outside and let Kittle go make a play. The DB was still flat-footed. But like I said, instead of looking deep to short, he was looking short. He was waiting on McCaffrey to clear out. And like you said earlier, McCaffrey was getting a lot of attention last night. He was getting a whole lot of attention Sunday night. So I'm like, just throw that sucker up. So I think that's the problem with the explosiveness in our offense is I think Jimmy hesitates on those opportunities. And I think you get a lot of those opportunities throughout the game. And I see other quarterbacks throwing that ball, whereas Jimmy doesn't always throw that ball. You know what I mean? He looks for the safer throw.
Yeah,
so
he looks for what he's more comfortable with. But, man, K Nice, I appreciate you coming on, man.
No problem. You have a good day.
Keep educating those kids, man. Appreciate that.
All right, working on it. Trying. All right.
Yes, sir. All right, here we go. Got one more caller before we get out of here. And hold on, I got to start tweet right here. Here we go. Kelsey has Mahomes. Kittle has a limited quarterback. I think there are quarterbacks around the league, though, that figure out how to make that work. Like, we talked about Kittle's best year. It was with Nick Mullins. Right? Nick Mullins. And, I mean, he's more limited than Garoppolo, but he made it work. So, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. But it's definitely some kind of, I don't know if it's the offense. Maybe it's Kyle. Maybe it's not Jimmy. Maybe it's Kyle. I don't know. I know it's not Kittle. At least I don't think it is. Kenneth Wilburn. What's up, cousin? It's my cousin Kenny. I think the league has about 3 top tight ends. We got Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews. Maybe I'm forgetting someone. I'd say that, before this year, we probably talk about a certain tight end, Darren Waller out of Oakland. He's up there. I think people are starting to like Goddard. But, again, I watched Goddard. I watched him last night. I don't think Goddard is in the same category as those guys, but I do think people will kind of mention him in the realm of like, hey, this is a legit tight end. But, yeah, between Kittle, Kelsey, and Andrews, yeah, but even then, I mean, we throw Kittle's name in there, he definitely doesn't get the same production as these other guys. I don't know. Appreciate the contribution, Cuddy. I hope you're good, man. I hope everything's good. Here we go. We got Mr. 49 Problems with a Z.
What's up, Rocky? It's been a minute, my guy. How you been?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, bro. Flames all across the wall here.
Oh,
Hey,
yes,
I'm
sir.
about to
Yes,
be
sir.
I'm about to be your guest co-host for a couple minutes, man.
Hey, let's hear it.
Hey, but real quick, I was thinking it doesn't matter pretty much any of the players that you would name on the 49ers right now, whether it's Kittle. I feel like he would go somewhere and catch 12 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, regardless wherever he went. Ayuk, 1,400-yard receiver. You see the boy we just lost to Miami, our running back, Jeff Wilson. He's out here looking like Barry Sanders all of a sudden. Look,
Looking like Terrell Davis in his prime.
exactly, bro. And it seems like every player, Trent Sherfield catching toe tap touchdowns. So it just seems like anybody that leaves our system, whether it's a coach or a player, they go somewhere reinvented. They got all this new fire. They play against us. All of a sudden, they have like an epic revenge game. And it's just, I think that's just par for the course. I don't know what it is about our squad, but I think that's just what it is and what it will be.
Right. Yeah, Dante Pettis had a touchdown, that long touchdown against the Niners. I think he probably, if I had to guess, he had more yards on that play than he has the rest of the season.
Bro, and it makes no sense, but we kind of knew it was coming too. And let one of their players be on our team for the revenge game. I mean, they get no action. So,
Do you think, why do you think that is? With the 49ers, with Kyle? Because I tell people all the time, right? You remember, you go back to last year, and who was the preseason training camp standout last offseason? Do you remember?
if it wasn't Sherfield, was it Sherfield? Was he one of
It
them?
was Sherfield, right? So
Yeah.
you see Sherfield, you see him do all these things, and then the season happens. He scores a touchdown, right? First drive of the season, scores a touchdown. Trey Lance hits him for a touchdown, right? Then after that, you just don't see him being utilized in that way, and kind of like what we see from Kittle. All right, but my point is, a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, see, I'm not believing in training camp hype or preseason hype. These guys could do well. It doesn't mean anything because look at Trent Sherfield. When the season starts, he does nothing, right?" But then I try to tell people, like, dude, a lot of it just has to do with opportunity. Richie James is the third leading receiver for the New York Giants right now. Richie James.
There's another one.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
there's
saying?
another one.
Trent Sherfield, you watch him, and it's been kind of hit and miss or whatever, but you watch his last game, 4 catches, 63 yards, a touchdown, toe tap and tug in the back of the end zone. So it's like, did Sherfield just all of a sudden learn how to play? Like, no, like you saw him ball in training camp preseason. He can do those things if given the opportunity. So I just wanted to make sure I kind of throw that in there.
Yeah, I just feel like our team, a quick analogy is like when you play somebody on Madden and they got like the best team, but they don't really know how to use everybody. So you're able to keep the game close because they don't know how to utilize their weapons. Not to say that Kyle doesn't, but I just feel like he's such a creature of habit. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I've won, and even him, like his win-loss record is not great. So I don't know why he wouldn't be open to trying new things, but I guess, it's his family tree, it's in his blood that they have to win a certain kind of way. So that's what he's doing. But I feel like the Niners too, if I compared our team to anybody, because we just refuse to let anything be easy, kind of like the Tom Coughlin Giants or Eli Manning back in the day where they're trash all year and then everyone knows they're going to go on a run. And I feel like that's just us every single year. We're like the Tom Coughlin Giants without Eli Manning. I mean, we have Jimmy. And of all the years to talk bad about Jimmy, I mean, this is just not the year, you could always want for more, whether it's in a relationship, your work life, your wife, your kid, whatever. You could always want for more, but when they're performing to the top of their ability and you don't want to break the dam. Like, I mean, with this Jimmy that we have this year, I mean, we're in contention as we've ever been to go as far as we possibly could go. And last thing, I think.
Well, I was going to say, I said that to Brian Peacock. I was like, the issues that we've had with Jimmy Garoppolo, if you get this version of how he's been playing, so far this year, although it's not like special, right? You wouldn't mistake him for Mahomes or any of the top, 7 quarterbacks or whatever. But this is good enough to win in the playoffs. The issue has been we don't get even this version of Jimmy in the playoffs. And that's the
Right.
bigger issue, right? So
Right.
Can you just get this type of play from Jimmy in the playoffs? And if you can, then you'll probably get better results from what they've gotten with him in the playoffs, which was an NFC championship win and an NFC championship game. Well, you're talking about potentially really winning a Super Bowl, right?
Absolutely. And last thing. The thing that will determine the 49ers season, I know Jimmy, saw a stat yesterday that behind Patrick Mahomes, when it comes to 3rd and long in the past couple of years, Jimmy's like right there. But nobody in their right mind wants to see Jimmy in 3rd and long. But just the penalties. When we play clean football, I mean, everybody's going to have penalties. But I think that it just kills the Niners when we're driving and we're doing well. We get that penalty, it resets our drive, and next thing you know, you can just call the drive. It's over. It's a punt. So that's one thing that I noticed. I didn't see many of them in the last couple games when we get rolling. If we could just stay disciplined like that, I think it's great because our team appears to be really focused. They know it's Super Bowl or bust. Just take the voodoo off our back. I'm tired of getting the Super Bowls and losing. You go back to Harbaugh going to those NFC Championship games with the fumble punt. Like, we've been on the brink forever. And I just like to see another one in my lifetime, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm right there with you. And that's what I pray for at night. Like, Lord, please, if you take me, just can it wait till after the Niners win the Super Bowl?
That part, bro. Because you go back to 94, like, I think you just think we're going to be winning them every year, bro. Like, it ain't nothing. And now here I am 30 years later. I'm like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The first time my daughter saw me shed a tear, and I'm consoling her, and I'm shedding a tear. Chiefs Super Bowl. And I knew.
They say the best things in life come to those who wait. So maybe we just got to be a little bit more patient. We don't wait it this long.
We done waited this long, my guy. Good stuff, Croc. I appreciate you, fam.
All right. Thanks for coming on. All right, shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to all my Niner gang folks. Shout out to the people in here from the other teams. I think we got some Philly fans in here, maybe. We got Chiefs fans for sure. With Rocco, we got, you know what I'm saying? Hey, whoever's in here, it's all love. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the interaction. Love all y'all. Make sure y'all, if you haven't already, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to be here tomorrow. Same time. Same place. So 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, where I'm at, 12 Eastern time. But I think that's going to do it. See if I missed anything. I see the chat going up. So somebody said Dante Pettis is balling. Pettis has 170 yards on the year. And now we got to see what's his longest reception. Hold on. So his longest reception is 50 yards, which was that broken play touchdown to the Niners. So I don't know if I'd say balling, right? Outside of that play, he has 100 yards, right? So I don't think he's balling, but it is cool to see him, Catman, do his thing. You feel me? Shout out to Catman. All right. And, man, hey, shout out to y'all. Let's see. Croc is the GOAT next to Grant. Shout out to Grant. Y'all know I'll be on his channel Thursday morning. I'll be there. Croc, is Jefferson better than Adams right now? It's hard to say Jefferson's not the best receiver in the NFL. I think for a while you want to hold that title for the guys who have done it for a really long time. But at this point, with how productive Jefferson has been over 3 years and just what he's doing, come on, man. At some point, it's like, all right, he's the best. Here's a question for y'all. What more would y'all want to see from Jefferson to say he's the best? Right? For you to just be like, all right, Justin Jefferson, he's the best receiver. I think Jefferson's the best. I don't know what more you want from the kid. He's balling. Nobody has more yards in the NFL since he's came into the league. He's dogging dudes left and right. Game on the line. 4th and 18. Kirk Cousins said, man, I just know he's down there somewhere. I'm just going to throw it up. Come on, man. 4th and 18. Game on the line. Just throw it up. Then, you know what? Throw it up to me. Touch. Ain't nobody better than Jefferson right now. I'm saying it. And he does everything. Like, what is Justin Jefferson's weakness? He wins underneath. He wins with quickness. He wins with routes. He wins vertically. He wins contested catch. And he does all these things at the highest level. You know he's getting the ball. You know he's throwing it to him, right? Let's see if I can look up some NFL stats. Is he leading the league in receiving right now? No, it's Tyreek Hill, huh? Ooh, him and Tyreek Hill, they're kind of battling for that. Look at Waddle right there, too. But Tyreek Hill. So, okay. At some point, maybe we gotta start giving Tyreek Hill his love, too. Tyreek Hill has 81 catches already on the year. and he only had 6 more targets than Justin Jefferson. But Jefferson averaging more yards per catch. He has 12 less catches than Tyreek Hill. They're both balling. So that might, come down to what's your flavor. But them dudes cold, man. Them dudes cold. Adams got the touchdowns, but I don't know, man. I think Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, man. It's got to be one of them two. We talked about the Trent Williams tail a little bit. A lot of times if I see something like that, I hit up, I typically will call like a coach, like an offensive lineman, and I'll get his opinion. So I don't want to even give my opinion on it because I have no idea. Medic Mike, did I miss something? So does Adams. Okay, so he's saying Adams. I think he's saying we're prisoners of the moment with Jeff. I don't think we're being prisoners of the moment with Justin Jefferson because this is a guy, I mean, come on, he had over 3,000 yards his first 2 years in the league. So he's been going crazy. And now he's just still going crazy, right? Like, he might finish the year with 2,000 yards. We're talking about, 5,000 yards over your first 3 years in the league? Come on, man. What? I don't think that's prisoner of the moment. I think he's just going crazy. He's just going crazy. I dropped a TD pass and fumbled on last week. What are your thoughts on him, Eric Crocker? I said my name like it's not me. I'd say I really like Ayuk, man. I like where he's headed right now. As a route runner, one of the things I wanted to see him do more of was, hey, man, like beat man coverage a little bit more because you're supposed to be that type of guy. I think he's definitely starting to do that more, free himself up, catching the ball. The fumble, that was tough, man. The fumble was tough because it's like he had the ball secured, but then he gets like swung around. And like as he gets swung around, he gets hit helmet to helmet. And that's just tough. That's tough. Now the drop, that was an ugly drop. But he was targeted 7 times. He had 6 catches. The drop was the only incomplete pass that was headed towards him. I think he's playing well. And they're doing different things to get the ball in his hands. I like that. I don't have any complaints. I would say, in the sense of, we're talking about these other guys, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and all that, right? And Devontae Adams, he's thrown in there. I think, one thing that those guys all do that you don't see from Ayuk yet, all right, maybe he will down the line, but where's the contested catches, right? Like that, right? Like, hey, I know Ayuk is down there somewhere. I'm just going to throw the ball up to Ayuk, and I know that Ayuk is going to come down with the ball. I haven't seen that yet. Are you, he could beat man coverage, seen him do it a lot. Are you talking to me? Because I just said that's what, I just said that. I said that was one thing I wanted to see. And like you see as this year go on, he's progressively being more consistent. First of all, he always could beat man coverage. It was the consistency with it. Like, can I just count on you to win more consistently? And I think now, like, I'm seeing that consistency week in, week out. Contested catch, he's had opportunities and he didn't come down with it. And that's fine. That's fine. That's just a part, There were a couple that Jimmy threw to him in the Panthers game, and there was one deep ball in the Falcons game, and there's been other opportunities where it's like, hey, just come down with the rock. You know what I'm saying? And whatever, I'll take his consistent 6, 7, 8 catches for 80-plus yards that he's been getting over the last 4 weeks. I think that's terrific. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's been really good, right? So when we start talking about kind of being prisoners of the moment or guys just, when you look at some of the small, he plays for the Lions, so he's not going to get the love, but I mean, consistent. The consistency from him, catching 7, 8 passes every time you look up. I mean, who else is being productive at the receiver position for them? And a lot of times, like, oh man, I gotta guard this guy, and he's like, catch, I'm on Ross St. Brown. So I like what he's doing. A lot more productive than his brother. Chase not better than Hill or Diggs. I think Chase, if we just said pure deep ball threats, him and Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, the best deep ball threats. But no, I would not take Chase over Hill, Diggs. I wouldn't take Chase over Hill, Diggs, Jefferson. But he's up there though. Croc, when would the squad give Womack a shot? I don't know. And it's really hard to predict what the 49ers do, man. I don't know. All right, man. I appreciate all y'all. I got to get out of here. I got stuff I got to do. I need to go hit the weights, all that good stuff. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We back here tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, right here, right now. Like button. Oh, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Crocky. Download the app or go to underdogfantasy.com if you're into, fantasy football, baseball, basketball, higher, lower on player props, all that good stuff. Do it right there. Until then, I'm out. Peace.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Rodgers over.
Hell yeah. Hey, shout out to all my 209 folks in the house, man. Shout out to all my 209. I saw this right here, man. You already know. Real 209, real Stockton, Northside, all that good stuff. All right, now I'm out.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Aaron Rodgers over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.